Everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're going to be teaching you how to play solutions. Before we get down to the table and teach you how to play that, though, I want to mention our sponsor, StoneValleyGames.com. This is your friendly, distant game store run by Eric and Wendy. They have a ton of great stuff over there. Old classics, new hotness, old hotness, new classics, all that stuff. Go check them out. They have a loyalty program for returning customers. They also will ship to, if you're in the military, you have an AA, AE, AP address, one of those overseas addresses, they will ship to you for free. I know that would have been fantastic back when I was in the Army over in Germany, had an AE address. If somebody would have shipped me for free, I'd have been over there checking their stuff out all the time. So go check out StoneValleyGames.com. There's a link in the description below. And now we're going to get down to the table and we're going to learn how to play solutions. To set up the game, first, if you're not playing with the advanced rules, remove the silver and gold cards. Also, remove the reward cards, Major Breakthrough, and Rushed Science. Next, shuffle the solution deck, being careful not to look at the other side, as it has the answers to the cards on the other side. And then deal 3 cards to each player. The deck should then be placed near the game board. Also place the reward deck, the feedback loop deck, the events deck, as well as the blue events deck, all also near the board. Every round of the game, global temperatures will increase, and players must propose climate solutions in order to try to keep temperatures down. Your goal is to rank the solutions from most to least impactful, and after a discussion to see if players want to move the most recently placed card, the cards will be flipped to see if they were correct. Players want to keep the temperature below 1.5 degrees Celsius by the time they reach the year 2050. Players will lose the game if, when they reach 2050, the temperature is above 2 degrees Celsius. But if it goes above 2 degrees Celsius during the game, as long as they bring it back down below it by the time the game is over, then they still can win. If the temperature is between 1.5 and 2, that's considered a partial win, and below 1.5 will be a full win. Also, these danger zones represent areas where at the beginning of the round, players must roll the die, and if they roll a matching number, they'll have to draw a card from the feedback loop. The time track determines the starting conditions for the player. So if players start on medium difficulty, then the temperature starts at 0.5 degrees Celsius. The temperature will increase 3 spaces per round, and the players can try to play a maximum of 4 solutions per round. However, if they started on the extra hard mode, then they would start at 1.4 degrees Celsius. Temperature is going to increase 4 per round, and they could play up to 6 cards per round. Once the time reaches the blue spaces, players will now be able to play 1 additional solution card for the rest of the game. Also, at that point, the blue event cards get shuffled into the main event deck. You'll also notice that on the final round of the game, players can play an infinite number of solutions. And when they reach 2050, they will not play around, but temperature will still increase. On solution cards, the closer a number is to 1, the more impactful that solution is, and the closer the solution is to 76, the less impactful it is. From a gameplay point of view, these numbers are the only gameplay aspect on the back of these cards, so there is a lot of other very interesting information included. All players at all times must have 3 solutions in their hand. A round is resolved in 5 steps. However, the first round players will skip steps 1 and 2. Step 1 is to roll for the feedback loop. As long as the players are below 1.1 degrees, then there is no need to roll for it. Once players have reached 1.1 degrees, if they were starting the round here or higher, they will have to roll for the feedback loop. If they roll one of the numbers depicted, then they must draw and resolve a feedback card. In this case, +1 space on the temperature track. The second step is to draw an event card from the event deck. Some event cards like this one will hurt you, while other event cards like this one can help you. This one says to draw a reward. Step 3 is the propose solution step. The current player proposes one of their solution cards by reading the text on the card and then placing it in the middle of this track. They then draw the next solution card so that they still have 3 solutions in their hand. If this is the first solution of the round, the next player should immediately propose another solution. When they do, they place it to either the right or left of the current one and have it slightly down so that players know this is the one that we're now discussing. No player may ever help another player select which solution to propose. Once the second solution is proposed, all players now discuss how impactful the new solution is compared to any other solutions on the table. If there's a disagreement, they take a vote, and a tie will be broken by the player who proposed the solution in question. Once players decide if this is less impactful or more impactful than the other solutions currently out on the table, they will place it where they believe it should go and flip both cards over. Oh, in this case, they were right. If the solutions have been placed in the wrong order, then the turn is over and the players move on to scoring. If the solutions were placed correctly, however, then the next player has a choice to make. They can either pass their turn and move on into scoring, or they can try proposing an additional solution and repeat the proposed solution step. So maybe they would choose recycled paper, and now they can place this either to the far right, to the far left, or in between solutions that have already been played. Once players discuss whether this is where it should actually go, then they would reveal it. Oh, and in this case, they got it wrong, and so now they would have to move on to scoring. But if they had gotten it right, then they would continue the process until they've played their maximum number of cards for the round. The fourth step is scoring, and once players move to this step, they reduce the global temperature by the number of solutions successfully proposed. So if it was like this, 1, 2, 3. However, if there had been an incorrect solution proposed, then players must discard the incorrect solution and one other solution. Meaning that in this case, they would actually have only been able to lower it by 1, so the temperature would be here. Finally, the players go to a new year and increase the temperature by the indicated amount, in this case, 3 steps. There are 2 ways for the game to end. Either players break the thermometer by going above 4.9 degrees Celsius. If this happens, your group has one more round to bring global temperature back down to the catastrophic limit of 2 degrees Celsius. You must play the maximum number of cards determined by the difficulty and year. So if we were here, then players must play 5 cards. The other way the game ends is if players make it to 2050. In this case, they've managed to make it to 2050 without causing runaway climate change. However, the fate of millions of lives and species still depends on how well they survived. If the global temperature is at or below 1.5 degrees Celsius, then they win. Next time, players can try to beat their score by going even lower, or they can increase the difficulty. If global temperature is above 2 degrees Celsius, then they lose. And if the temperature is somewhere between 2 and 1.5, then they've received a partial win. And that's how you play Solutions. There are some additional advanced rules that you can find in the instruction manual. Only about an additional 1 to 2 pages of rules, I believe, if I remember correctly. So be sure to check those out as well. Be sure to leave any questions in the comments below. Be sure to be also looking out for upcoming videos of how to play Perdition's Mouth. We've got Lands of Gowser. We've got 1565 St. Elmo's Pay, 1815 Scum of the Earth. Lots of great stuff coming up. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.